Ripley's Believe It or Not is trying to protect themselves, but they're just digging themselves a deeper hole. For those of you wondering why I'm wearing a black dress and the cause of my solemn mood, it is because today we are mourning Marilyn Monroe's dress. Now, if you have Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, or any sort of social media, you might have been aware that the Marilyn Monroe JFK Happy Birthday dress has been damaged. You might also be aware that Kim Kardashian, the famous reality TV star, wore that same dress to the Met Gala back in May. Why anyone would let Kim Kardashian, or anyone for that matter, wear Marilyn Monroe's dress, a symbol of American history, is beyond me. We're gonna go into that today. Why Kim Kardashian wore the dress, why Ripley, believe it or not, thought they could give her permission to wear that dress, why Ripley, believe it or not, even had the dress to begin with. Above all, the egocentric idea that went into this whole catastrophe. Historians, costume designers, textile experts across the internet, the moment they saw Kim Kardashian wearing this dress, they were run in fear. Now, I am not a historian or a textile expert. I have some experience in costume design during my time in theater, but despite my lack in expertise and degrees, I like to consider myself someone who knows when something is a bad idea. And this, my dear Watson, was a bad idea. It doesn't take a genius to recognize that a 60-year-old dress is more likely to face damage when wearing it often. By the end of the Met Gala, Ripley's Believe It or Not reported back there was no damage done to the dress, everything was good, everything was great, everything was fine and dandy. But then it wasn't. One visits Ripley's Believe It or Not and notices there's damage to the dress. I'm talking missing crystals, puckering, tearing near the buttocks, the zippers all loosened up. The worst part of this is that even with proof of damage to the dress since Kim Kardashian has worn it, Ripley's Believe It or Not has taken no responsibility and claims that it wasn't her fault. You're right, Ripley's Believe It or Not, it wasn't Kim Kardashian's fault. It was yours for letting her wear it. Now, I'm not going to completely blame Kim Kardashian for this situation. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have to have a pretty big ego to think that you belong in the same exact dress, that of one of the greatest icons in American history. And not just any dress of that American icon, but the dress that American icon wore when she sang Happy Birthday to Mr. President to JFK. From the Los Angeles Times, now this is an article written by Nardine Saad. I am so sorry if I mispronounced your name. I apologize, but thank you for writing this article. Brilliantly done. Chef kiss. Believe it or not, Ripley's Believe It or Not has denied that reality star Kim Kardashian damaged Marilyn Monroe's iconic Happy Birthday Mr. President dress when she wore it to the Met Gala last month. After images of what appeared to be the sparkly gown were posted on social media showing apparent damage to the iconic dress. Apparent. The entertainment company finally waded into the fiery discourse to say with confidence, quote unquote, that Kardashian's outing in the famed gown did not cause damage. So what did? Are you going to explain what did if it wasn't her? Like, are they going to tell us what happened? Our mission is to both entertain and educate visitors and fans, and sparking conversations like the discourse from Marilyn Monroe's dress does just that. Do they think we're stupid? Like, who do they think they are? No one's falling for this, Ripley. Like, it's a little insulting. It's a little insulting to think, like, this is just gonna, like, oh, it's fine. It's a great conversation piece now. No! Who let Ripley have this dress anyway? Like, why do they have this dress?
No matter what side of the debate you're on, what side? Who is agreeing with you here? No one's agreeing with you.
The historical importance of the dress has not been negated, but rather highlighted. So why did you let a rando wear this dress? I'm sorry, she's not a rando. But you shouldn't be wearing the dress. Like, if you know how historically significant this dress is, why would you do that? An entirely new group of young people have now been introduced to the legacy of Marilyn Monroe. We didn't need... I'm sorry. I have to... Ripley. I don't think this generation... I don't think they needed you or Kim Kardashian to tell them who Marilyn Monroe is. I'm sorry? Does Ripley think they reintroduced Marilyn Monroe into the conversation? No one forgot who Marilyn Monroe is, honey. What? I can't believe this! Kim Kardashian wearing the happy birthday dress has been hotly contested, but the fact remains she did not, in any way, damage the garment in a short amount of time it was worn at the Met Gala. It doesn't take a long time for someone to shove themselves in a dress and rip. I mean, look at the pictures here. Look at the pictures of the damage here. It's in the zipper area. If you can see her wearing the dress does not fit her in the buttocks area. Ripley, which acquired the gown at an auction in 2016 for nearly $5 million. That's it? Nah, that dress is gonna be worth at least $20 million. For those of you who don't know the history of Marilyn Monroe and this dress and her relationship with JFK, you know, spicy, not only is this the dress that she wore when singing Happy Birthday, Mr. President to JFK, and obviously, as we all know, the gossip around Marilyn Monroe and JFK, but she died just months after wearing this dress. That dress is one of the last pieces people remember Marilyn Monroe for wearing and performing in. Not to mention, Marilyn Monroe was sewn into that dress just before going on stage and singing. That dress was quite literally sewn for her body. So it makes sense why that dress could not fit anyone unless someone were to have the exact same measurements as Marilyn Monroe the day she sang that song. And even if you did have the same measurements, you shouldn't wear that dress for the sake of its historical significance. That dress belongs in an American history museum, not Ripley's. Isn't Ripley's a wax museum? Why in Ripley's? Why not the Smithsonian? Why is a piece of American heritage in a wax, like what even is Ripley's? Is Ripley's Believe It or Not? Ripley's Believe It or Not is an American franchise founded by Robert Ripley, which deals in bizarre events and items so strange and unusual that readers might question the claims. Why is Marilyn's dress in here? In what world does Marilyn's dress belong there? It's an oddities museum. I'm gonna do Indiana Jones here and say that dress belongs in a museum, but like a real museum, not Ripley's Believe It or Not. We need Nicolas Cage to, instead of steal the Declaration of Independence, steal that dress, steal back Marilyn Monroe's dress. Like if that dress was in the Smithsonian, they would have never let anyone touch it. Like it'd be treated like the freaking Mona Lisa. We acquired the gown in an auction in 2016 for $5 million. Still insane. It was that cheap. Initially denied Kardashian permission to wear it because it didn't fit her. Footage released after the gala showed Skims founder struggling to pull up the gown, even with the help of special handlers. 1, no one should be touching that gown. 2, if she can't fit in it, she shouldn't wear it. Wow, Kim's really struggling to fit the dress over her butt. I wonder how the dress got ripped in the butt. The dress was sketched by legendary fashion designer. Okay, honestly, we need to talk about this. Marilyn Monroe in the dress, which by the way, again, the dress was made for her, specifically her measurements. She looks amazing, her hair, her everything, her jewelry. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. And then you look at Kim, right? The dress looks on her. Like it doesn't look right on her. Her hair looks like she bleached that within a matter of weeks. Like she rushed it way too quick and then she gelled it back like she's freaking Draco Malfoy and then put her hair in like this little baby bun. Also, what doesn't make any sense to me is that this year's Met Gala theme was the Gilded Age. It was gilded glamour, which honestly, I find very ironic. Gilded Age was a time with one of the largest wealth gaps in history between the working class and the elite class, and during that time, the elite class used to have these really extravagant costume balls, and for them to have that as their theme for the Met Gala is, it's almost like, hey peasants, slapping them across the face with their $30,000 a ticket. And Kim Kardashian chooses to wear this dress, one of the most iconic pieces of 1960s history, worn by a figure most known for 1950s and 1960s culture. The Gilded Age takes place in the 1890s. Like, why have a theme if only 4 people know how to dress for it? These people act as if Google doesn't exist. In United States history, the Gilded Age was an era extending from 1870 to 1900. It was a time of rapid economic growth, especially in the northern and western United States. Then why y'all dress like this? So Kim Kardashian choosing to wear this dress from the 1960s that had no similarities to any fashion in the 1890s, really didn't need to happen. Any of those who said Kim Kardashian has the right to wear Marilyn Monroe's clothes as if Marilyn Monroe wasn't a real person because they're both quote-unquote sex symbols. Do you know anything about Marilyn Monroe? Marilyn Monroe hated being known as a sex symbol, especially by Hollywood, because it was all Hollywood used her for, despite the fact that Marilyn Monroe is actually quite well read and very intelligent. The dress was sketched by legendary fashion designer Bob Mackie and custom made by John Louis for Monroe, who was sewn into the garment before she sang a sensual happy birthday to President John F. Kennedy at Madison Square Garden, months before she died. And here it says, Mackie, the designer of the dress, told Entertainment Weekly that Kardashian wearing it was a big mistake. The man who designed the dress has spoken. Ripley said that when it acquired the dress at auction, again, I don't know why the dress was auctioned off to begin with, giving Ripley the opportunity to even buy the dress. A report written on the dress's condition in early 2017 stated that a number of the seams are pulled and worn. This is not surprising, given how delicate the material is. There is puckering at the back by the hooks and eyes, amongst other instances of damage. Why would you let someone wear a historical piece of clothing if it's already showing signs of damage? If you have reports of a historical piece of clothing having signs of minor damage, why would you risk any further damage or making that damage worse by letting someone wear that article of clothing to an event? I know Ripley's, believe it or not, is trying to protect themselves and Kim Kardashian, but they're just digging themselves a deeper hole. But for the privately owned, for-profit attractions company, exactly, it's an attractions company. It's not a place of education. It's not a museum. Continued to display the historic gown at a number of its attractions around the world and said Thursday that that it understands the risks associated with this. So you put on Kim Kardashian? Meanwhile, alleged before and after photos of the delicate gown were posted on Instagram by private collector the Marilyn Monroe collection, dissecting what appeared to be damage. The images reportedly showed the souffle gown pre-MET Gala and now at the Ripley's Hollywood location. New wear and tear on the garment, such as threadbare sequins, tears along the back closure, puckering and pulled seams, were visible in several posts shared on the account this week. That era is gone, and yet that is the dress that survives to remind us of that time and to take us back. And not only does that dress represent a certain time and era, Kevin, if you're watching this, I doubt you are, that dress represents a certain person, a certain event. I mean, that dress took place during a time in American history where we hadn't seen such piping hot tea since the Boston Tea Party. How can I say this without getting myself into too much trouble? Marilyn Monroe was a bombshell. I don't just mean in the sense of a sex icon bombshell. I mean in the sense of an information bombshell. She was a civil rights activist, an activist for the working class, and one of the few outspoken socialists for the 1960s. And at that time, the establishment wasn't too fond of that. And I wouldn't be surprised that if during one of her visits to the White House, she may have overheard some information she wasn't supposed to hear. Back to our friend Kevin Jones, the curator of the Fitta Museum. Now we have to move forward with Kim Kardashian as part of that dress. For what reason? Jones added. There is no respect for damaging cultural icons, whether they're a dress, whether they're a document, whether it's a building, because the damage can never be repaired. And now it's something that future historians, future conservators, future viewers will see. And that's something that didn't need to happen. Snap, 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 snaps for Kevin. Because when something is so important and so significant and so iconic to American history as Marilyn Monroe, not just the dress, but Marilyn Monroe herself, and to just spit on that and not take responsibility for what has been done. That's like burning the flag. Like, why is it you hear people complaining about burning the flag all the time? I mean, we get those shipped in all the time from where? China? There's only one Happy Birthday, Mr. President dress, worn by Marilyn Monroe, and now it's ruined. However, Ripley's on Thursday attempted to cast doubt on the image. Of course they did. A representative for Kardashian also referred to the Times to Ripley's statement and said on Thursday that Kardashian is not commenting. Of course she's not. Of course she's not. Because Why admit that you are wrong? Bottom of the Met steps where Kim got into the dress, to the top where it was returned, the dress was in the same condition as it started in, said Ripley's vice president of publishing and licensing, Amanda Joyner, who Ripley said was continuously with the dress the day of the gala and during transport from Orlando to New York. So what happened to the dress? If it wasn't Kim's butt, who ruined it? What happened? They failed to mention this. What happened, Ripley? Dress was worn only for the red carpet portion of the annual affair at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Kardashian slipped into a duplicate for the gala itself, leading many to wonder why she just didn't wear the duplicate in the first place. What? There was a duplicate the entire time! Kardashian then flew the original dress from New York to California on her private jet. Okay, so first Ripley claims the dress was under their watch the entire time, but now it's shown that Kardashian had the original dress with her from New York to California on a private jet. So Ripley wants to tell us, oh no, there was handlers the entire time. But here it tells us that Kim Kardashian had the dress on her own, on her private jet. That is so irresponsible! Ripley's also noted that Kardashian did not pay the organization to wear the dress, and the company didn't pay her either. It said that the Keeping Up with the Kardashians alum made a charitable donation to 2 charities in the greater Orlando area on behalf of the company. So Kim didn't pay Ripley's for the dress. She just got them a good tax break. Lies, the deception. When will these rich people stop? I hope Kim Kardashian is haunted by the ghost of Marilyn Monroe for the rest of her days. I really wanted to do this video with no disrespect to Kim Kardashian, but why should I have any respect for someone who has none for anything but themselves? From having the audacity and the ego to even ask to wear a dress like that, Ripley's Believe It or Not to allowing her to wear the dress and just having the dress in the first place in an oddities museum. That dress is not only a symbol of American history, but someone's life and someone's legacy, and decided to parade around in it like a Halloween costume. Because your ego is so big, you decided to compare yourself to a legend of the past and treat a human being like a cosplay character. Now, I do want to put most of the blame on Ripley's Believe It or Not, because after all, they did have the dress, they let Kim Kardashian wear the dress when they shouldn't have. However, I would hope, Kim Kardashian, who has spent a good portion of her life in the spotlight and has been mistreated by Hollywood in the same way Marilyn Monroe was mistreated by Hollywood, would know better. And instead, she abused Marilyn's name the same way everyone else did. So what can we learn from this? Well, 1, don't abuse historic artifacts and keep them preserved and protected. That way we can use them for educational purposes for years to come. And 2, most importantly, maybe check our ego every once in a while, and maybe don't do everything to get the attention from media, especially not abuse the names of other human beings. My name is Ashlyn Slytherin. I'll check you next time.